Neva at timeforinvesting.com, and I have another question from you that I want to answer today. It's from Brian, and Brian said, "Hi Neva, I'm great. I hope you are as well. I would like to hear more on handling calls generated by direct marketing letters. What to say in those initial calls from absentee owners and or probates." Now, this is such a great question because in the beginning, we're like all terrified to get on the phone and talk with absentee owners or just anyone that's looking to sell their house. We're kind of so scared, and I don't even know why, but I just know that I was, so I totally relate with you with, what do you want to do and have planned for the call. So the first thing that I would say is write down all the questions that you definitely want to ask the seller. One, it'll just make you feel more confident. You don't have to worry that you may forget something and then have to call them back and look, kind of sloppy in your work. So write down all the questions that you definitely want to ask them. And what I find, what's been helpful for me when I start the conversation, when they first call me, I introduce myself, get their, also ask them their name, and I just do a really short introduction. I mean, like 2 or 3 sentences, and I just kind of explain the home buying, process, how my process works, what I offer, before I just jump into asking them questions. I've just found it just helps things to kind of flow easier. So I do that first. So do that first. Introduce yourself, and I'm saying short, 3 sentences max. Okay, you're just explaining what you do and what you offer. Okay, and then then you can go into asking questions. So you need the property address, things like that. Questions on the property. First thing, you need to find out what condition is this property in. So ask them, hey, when was the last time the kitchen was updated? When was the last time the bathrooms were updated? Pay special attention. You definitely want to know the kitchen and the bathrooms because these are like the most important things that retail buyers look for. Is what condition is the kitchen and bathrooms, and people love amazing renovated kitchens. So you want to know, hey, if this kitchen's been updated, the last time 10, 15 years ago, hey, to factor in that the kitchen will definitely need an update after you buy the property. Okay. I wrote down some questions here. What did I say? I had, right, what condition is the property, and focus on kitchen and bathrooms. Also ask them how much is owed on the mortgage, because you need this information when you go back to factor in what solutions you can offer. So you need to know, because you don't want to make offers unless it's going to be for a short sale, but you don't want to offer them something that's not going to pay off the mortgage or something like that. So you need that information, and sometimes people don't understand why, but explain that to them, because you do need to factor that into what options you offer them. And the next thing to ask them is anyone living in the property? If there's a tenant in the house, you need to know if the lease terms. When does the lease expire, and how much rent are they paying? Because if you plan to wholesale this, your investors are going to want to know that information. Also, if it's sometimes it's a family member, friend, or the actual owner, you have to ask them, hey, when do you plan on moving? Because that's the thing that will help you in your solutions as well. Because, hey, if they're planning to move, sometimes people will say, I'm already out the property, or I'll move as soon as we close, or, things like that, where they'll say, oh, well, a month or 2. But you need that information, because that definitely factors into, let you know how quickly you need to be able to close on this property. And what else did I write down? How soon are you looking to sell? Oh, the other one I wrote down. You see why you have to write down so you don't forget? So I wrote these down so I wouldn't forget to tell you. Ask them why they're selling their property. This is so critical, because you want to know, hey, are they facing foreclosure? Sometimes there's just a bill that needs to be paid. They want to pay that bill off. Kids are going off to college. People are sick. I mean, you definitely need to know that. Maybe, Hurricane Sandy, and they're like, listen, I don't want to deal with this. The house now needs work. You just need to know what is the situation that you would be walking into. What situation are you trying to solve? Because at the end of the day, we're trying to have the sellers walk away in a better situation than they came to us in. So we just need to know what's going on now. And then, of course, you want to ask them how much do they want for the property. Now, a lot of times people do not, they're not going to tell you, because maybe they're not sure. They may know what the house is valued in great shape, but they're not really sure what value a cash buyer will offer to close quickly, so they really don't know. So, and that's okay if they say they don't know, but you're just putting the answer out there, try to say, hey, if we could close in 7 days, what's the lowest that you would accept, so to try to to get a number, something, to kind of see where they're headed or what they're expecting. And most of all, I want to stress, because I made this mistake in the beginning of my business, is when you get on these calls, that let the sellers, let them do majority of the talking. And the thing is, people will tell you their stories, and you may think this is, a waste of your time, but really, I want you to listen. Sometimes these calls go longer than you may like, but really listen to what's going on, because what I found is that information is critical. Okay, you can ask all these tens of, questions that you write down and find on the internet, but let the seller talk. Let them tell you what they want to tell you, because people will offer information. I mean, it could be a probate. Maybe they'll start talking about the history, why the house still hasn't sold. Maybe there's some conflict between family members, but let them talk, because the more information they give you, then when you go back and say, what solutions can I offer to help this? And you just know so much more, and you know how they feel. Is there an urgency to sell? Or if, sometimes people are just so stressed out in probate that they're just like, everyone's suing each other, and they're just like, I just need to, I just want to be relieved of being in the middle of the suing, of going to court all the time. So that's what I really, really want to stress, is when you get off the phone, is let them talk. Let them tell you what's going on. Let them tell you their story. Maybe just, when you ask a question, hey, why are you looking to sell? Complete pause. Even if they give you like a one-word answer, just a quick answer, maybe just pause and just have that silence, and then maybe sometimes they start talking again, and then they'll start to elaborate. So let them talk, because you need as much information as possible to come up with a solution that works. So take care, and enjoy your day. Bye-bye. Get out and get some sun. It's nice out here.